once again want to thank you all for your engagement on that. Reinforce how important this engagement is. Reinforce that your honest, open dialogue and opinions about the topics that we've been.
You know, I've been watching these meetings. I'm probably one of the few TriMet operators that actually watches this stuff. And it's time for me to make some comments about this. We had a serious accident in Portland involving 5 pedestrians. And we all know the facts of that, or we don't know the facts of that actually, but we know that it occurred. And immediately after that accident, TriMet bus drivers were now, as a group, unsafe. Now, before that accident, there was really no discussion about TriMet operators being unsafe. We had discussions about operators on cell phones, who, by the way, had never had a serious accident related to cell phone use or electronic devices. We had discussions about TriMet operators being rude or unprofessional, but the idea that TriMet operators as a group were unsafe had never been discussed before. And all of a sudden we have this accident, and bing, the whole world changed. It's a 9/11 type event. One day you're just doing your business, the next day all of a sudden the whole world has changed, and that's what's happened for us. But what strikes me from these committee meetings is how there's no real bus drivers or real operators on these committees. These are all bureaucrats talking about safety issues as if somehow they're going to be able to legislate or codify safety, and somehow that's going to make people do it. And I watch that in amazement because I know how just absurd that whole dance is. Now, TriMet as a company has an accident rate of 1/4%. Very, very low accident rate. We've had, maybe I've forgotten the exact number, but 35, 40 fatalities in the 40 years of its existence, which is not a lot. I mean, it's strictly a sense of actuarials. How many miles on the road, how many accidents. There's no way you're going to stop humans from having accidents. It will always occur no matter how many trainings you give us. It's never going to stop. So what are they doing over here at these meetings? What is the purpose of this? Well, they're going to implement a whole bunch of rules and regulations, and they're going to make us take some class. But they already know who the safe drivers are. They know who's getting the safety records. They know who's unsafe by having multiple accidents. They already know this information. They know which drivers are operating safely and which aren't. I really haven't heard much discussion about that. But the thing that strikes me most of all is that this whole process over here should be focusing not on TriMet operators, but on HR policies and training policies. Because if you're getting out of training and you don't understand that safety is the #1 thing that you're supposed to think about when you're behind the wheel of that bus, then there's something wrong there, okay? It's too late to legislate it. If the training department has passed you through and you've beaten probation, then it's too late for you to think you're going to change anything by making us take some classes or have some training guy check ride us. That's not going to happen. So what is going on, I wonder? What is it going on? Well, I think that, was it David Sale that said it was a dog and pony show? It is a dog and pony show. Because what they need to do is really revamp the training, and that's where the port of entry is for everybody that works here. And if they're saying now that we're an unsafe culture, well, the root of that is not me as an operator or the other operators. The root of that is the training department. And if we're having unethical operators, well, that we need to look at the HR department. So I see the whole, as I watch these proceedings go on, and I talk, and I see it as it's like, first of all, it's a myth that we're an unsafe culture. I don't believe it, okay? I think the culture is actually safe. I think that there's a lot of barriers to thinking about safety at all times, including, like, I have to drive a 1700 bus in the winter where my windows will get fogged up completely when it's raining out. And in the summertime, I have to suffer extreme heat exhaustion because it's not even. They don't talk too much about that stuff. There's multiple stops on every single route which are unsafe. Robert Butler, in his testimony, really touched on the real problem here. The real problem isn't the operators. Of course, it's the easiest thing for the bureaucrats to do is to look at us and put it off on us, and that's what they do because that keeps them out of trouble. But the problems are more infrastructure and management than operator. You cannot have operators working 13 hours a day and expect service excellence and safety. Nobody talks about that. So I'm watching and I'm seeing what they're going to be doing here with all of this, and I'm just saying to myself, more bureaucracy out of control. They're missing the whole point of what they're doing. They're missing this opportunity to really look at themselves, because that's where it has to start. You know, the people are already working here. You're not going to change anything. What do you think you're going to change? So I can't use my electronic device while I was behind the wheel. Hey, I got news for you. I never had one incident, one accident when I was filming, when I was allowed to film here. We never had one accident as a group, one serious accident when we were talking on cell phone. Yeah, okay, those behaviors really, I guess, you know, when you think about it, are not particularly advisable, all right? But let's look at the facts. Most of us working at TriMet are professionals. When I was using my camera, when I was allowed to do that, I knew when not to do it, and I knew when I could do it. Safety was always number one in my mind when I was undertaking that activity. I would never take a chance. I was smart enough to understand that this is not an occasion for me to be trying to make films, you know. And if I was doing it, of course, it would be extra cautious as to what was going on around me. Most of us working here take no chances with safety. We get stressed and we're human, and you're going to have mistakes. You will not be able to codify that. That will never end. But adding more and more things on us is not going to solve the problem if they don't take care of some of the infrastructural problems such as bad equipment, unsafe stops, unsafe schedules, unsafe working conditions, split shifts that'll make you work 18-hour, well, not an 18-hour day, but a 14-hour day and get paid for 6 in the case of a part-timer. These are the real problems here. These are the real morale problems, and these are the real safety problems. All this other stuff that they keep talking about here, it's not going to solve anything. It's a dog and pony show. David Steele was right.